For decades, the skies have been ruled by two titans, Boeing of the United States and Airbus of Europe. Together, they have created a near-absolute duopoly in the global commercial aviation market. Their aircraft, such as the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320, have become symbols of engineering supremacy, the backbones of global air travel, and critical instruments of soft power for the West. Every major airline fleet today is built around these two names, and the world has long accepted their dominance as inevitable, even unshakable. But that certainty is now under threat. A new contender is emerging, not from another Western power, but from the East. With strategic patience, state support, and growing technological capabilities, China has launched a direct challenge to this aviation order. That challenge comes in the form of the COMAC C919, a narrow-body, medium-range commercial aircraft developed by the Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, COMAC. It's not just another aircraft, it's a declaration, a statement, a symbol of China's intent to break the decades-long Western monopoly in aviation and to control more of its own destiny in the skies. A defiant vision takes flight. The journey of the C919 began not just as an engineering project, but as a national ambition. Founded in 2008, COMAC was tasked with building China's first large-scale passenger jet capable of challenging the West. From the outset, the goals were monumental: reduce dependency on foreign aircraft, develop an aerospace supply chain within China, and introduce a competitive alternative that would one day fly in the fleets of carriers worldwide. Designs were unveiled in 2008, but it wasn't until 2015 that the first prototype rolled out. What followed was nearly a decade of rigorous flight testing, design refinements, technical audits, and regulatory hurdles. Finally, in September 2022, the C919 received its type certification from the Civil Aviation Administration of China, CAAC, declaring it airworthy for domestic skies. Just 3 months later, the first C919 was delivered to China Eastern Airlines, marking a historic moment in the country's aviation history. But the C919 isn't just about flying passengers. It's about something far larger: national prestige, industrial independence, and geopolitical leverage. Specifications. With strategy on paper, the C919 may not seem revolutionary. It's designed to carry between 158 and 168 passengers and has a maximum range of about 5,155 kilometers, making it ideal for short to medium-haul routes, the most profitable segment of the global aviation market. This is no coincidence. These routes dominate domestic and regional travel, especially in rapidly growing markets across Asia. While the aircraft doesn't dramatically outperform its Western competitors in raw numbers, its strategic value lies in cost efficiency and accessibility. The C919 offers modern design elements, an advanced aerodynamic profile, fly-by-wire controls, a digital cockpit, and a fuel-efficient layout. And while critical components, such as engines from CFM International and avionics from Honeywell, still come from the West, COMAC's long-term plan is to indigenize more of its supply chain. Most importantly, the C919 is positioned as a budget-friendly alternative, promising operational savings and a purchase price 20% to 30% lower than comparable models from Boeing and Airbus. In a post-pandemic world where airlines are desperate to cut costs, increase fleet capacity, and avoid long delivery queues, COMAC's offering is striking a chord. Strategy, timing, and geopolitics. The C919 is not emerging in a vacuum. Its arrival comes at a moment of unusual disruption across the aviation landscape. Airbus has publicly admitted that it will fail to meet its A320neo production targets for 2025 due to parts shortages and supply chain backlogs. Boeing, meanwhile, continues to grapple with a crisis of confidence following multiple production flaws and regulatory investigations into its 737 MAX line. With delivery timelines stretching out 3 to 4 years or more for Boeing and Airbus aircraft, airlines are scrambling. They need planes. Now. And this is where COMAC holds an edge. Fast delivery, lower prices, and fewer order backlogs make the C919 a more immediate solution. Add in government support, preferential financing from Chinese banks, attractive leasing options, and full-service maintenance packages, and suddenly, COMAC is not just offering a plane, it's offering a complete aviation solution. Meanwhile, geopolitics is shifting. As China deepens its economic and strategic ties with the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and parts of Africa and Latin America, the purchase of Chinese aircraft becomes more than just a business decision. It becomes a diplomatic statement, an investment in a future aligned more closely with Beijing than Washington or Brussels. International interest rising. Despite doubts, international interest is growing. In a surprise move, Galipair, a startup airline from Brunei, signed a letter of intent to purchase 15 C919s and 15 ARJ21s, marking the first foreign order. Not long after, Total Linhas Aéreas, a Brazilian cargo and charter airline, expressed serious interest in adding the C919 to its fleet, and whispers are growing louder about other international carriers exploring similar deals. Perhaps most shocking was Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary's public admission that the European budget giant would be open to purchasing the C919, so long as the price was competitive. Just a few years ago, the idea of a Chinese jet operating across European skies was dismissed as fantasy. Today, it is an open conversation. The obstacles ahead. Yet for all the excitement and promise, COMAC faces significant, even existential, challenges. Certification in the West. The C919 has yet to be certified by the US FAA or the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, ASA. Without these endorsements, the aircraft cannot legally operate in the vast majority of the world's airspace. Achieving these certifications involves exhaustive testing, tens of thousands of flight hours, structural integrity tests, malfunction scenarios, environmental assessments, and documentation audits. More than that, it requires trust, something that Western regulators do not yet extend to Chinese aerospace manufacturers. Global ecosystem and support infrastructure. Aircraft sales are not just about hardware. Airlines require comprehensive support, maintenance centers, spare parts availability, technical support teams, pilot training programs, and reliability assurances. Boeing and Airbus have spent decades building global networks to support their aircraft. COMAC, by comparison, is just starting. Without these systems in place, even one grounded plane due to a missing part could damage COMAC's reputation irreparably. Perception and politics. Western skepticism toward Chinese-made aviation products remains high. Safety, transparency, and data integrity concerns, combined with rising geopolitical tensions, mean that even an excellent aircraft will face resistance in key markets. Overcoming these barriers will take time, proven safety records, and a carefully executed public relations strategy. The final ascent still. The future remains wide open. With over 1,000 pre-orders, mostly from Chinese airlines and leasing firms, COMAC is laying the groundwork for mass production and price competitiveness. The domestic market alone is massive enough to sustain early growth. But as more regional airlines place their bets, and as political and economic alliances shift toward the east, the C919's footprint could grow far beyond Chinese borders. The C919 is not just a new airplane. It is the centerpiece of China's aviation ambition. And while it may be years before it rivals Boeing or Airbus in volume or global trust, its presence alone has shattered the myth of invincibility that surrounded the Western duopoly. We are now entering an era of three: Boeing, Airbus, and COMAC. The battle for the skies has only just begun.